This is the Steropsis.
Now, what is the way forward for Igbo in regards to Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa, the IPOB and ESN stuff? Now, we cannot just continue to talk about that. We cannot just discontinue talking about that kind of thing. We can't just stop talking about it because it's something that affects a lot. I made a video here about my encounter with them when I was actually arrested, sometimes like 2 years ago or thereabouts. And therefore, I saw a lot of comments, and people were saying, "Oh, you're speaking up against this." Some people will also come around to say, "What are you saying?" Now, I want to make second part of that video, and there's something I've really found very interesting. That a lot of people do not ask questions. Why do people actually get involved in something like that? How do you convince a young man? I know some people think that a lot of people who are involved in that are maybe illiterate people or thereabout. No, it's not necessarily so. These are people who have gone to secondary school. Some of them have some exposure to higher institutions and all those kind of things. How do you think that somebody is convinced to actually lay his life for that kind of cause or dedicate his life for that kind of cause? And that's something that we must actually get to study very well and use it to our own advantage. And it has to do with, from my understanding, from my interactions with them, it has to do with media. A lot of people are exposed to social media, and a lot of our leaders in the Southeast are not actually making use of that. How many times have you seen, like a lot of the governors don't even have, let's say, open interactions with the journalists or citizens online continuously, especially on this Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's only during the elections that people get online to talk to them. Sometimes when I look at the Western world, like Trump can bring out 1 hour, answer questions all through, and now they have a lot of these things are distributed online. People are listening to it. A lot of your people must actually invest in things like this because that's where a lot of the young boys get their information from. Sometimes they live in another world of theirs. And you see how some people tell you that, before the end of this year, maybe Biafra will be declared. And they mean it. And they are very serious about it. So their source of information is actually quite different from what you actually know as the reality. So we must actually invest into things like this. And people with very credible voices can actually lend their voices to this. It's not something that only the kinetic approach will solve. Because there are people that actually are propagating this. Even currently, there are people who still seriously believe in this. And when opportunity presents itself, those people have been worked upon for a long time and it could turn to something very, very ugly. And thank God a lot of people are speaking up. A lot of people are speaking up. It's not only the kinetic aspect of it that must be addressed. There must be constructive and intentional approach to solving the other problem of how these people get indoctrinated into this. Because it's a very big problem. And when somebody gets to that level where he can lay down his life for a cause, it's a very big problem within the Southeast region. And we must also, if the vacuum is created now, some people are still talking in the absence. So what do we do? Should it not be that we have a constructive approach towards now reaching out to these people, reaching out to our people, a lot of young guys, talking to them. Now, this is not the way to go. This is the way to go. And I must say it, that is not the way to go. This is not the way to go about this. This is not the way to go about this. A lot of our people, I can remember what one of the police officers told me those days, the man in charge of the tactical squad. And he said, how can our people, the young people, be languishing in cells like this? Something needs to be done. Because then, you check a lot of people that were in secret cells. These are not guys above 25 years, very young boys. And one day he furiously told me, how can the life of these innocent people just be terminated like this? He felt for them, although he was actually doing his work, trying to protect life and property. But he knows a lot of people have been indoctrinated into this kind of thing. They are used with political tools and all those kind of things to settle scores. And then when these young boys are apprehended, these are going to end their life in prison or maybe be neutralized stupidly or thereabout. It's something that the government must take very seriously in Southeast. To keep Southeast secured, he has to go beyond just kinetic approach alone. Because what we know is reaction, how people react to this, how people react to that. And that is just the only thing people get to know. When the thing happens and some people are regrouped they are given some arms to go fight. Now, we must also battle these things psychologically. There must be people who continuously talk. The media airwaves, every other thing must continuously address the issues. We must have young boys who listen to a lot of this. If you check a young boy's phone, you know the kind of people they listen to, the jokes, the comedies, and every other thing that is going on. They listen to them very well. And these people must actually, the government must approach some people who subtly place this in the minds of our young people so that we are going to have a more prosperous and peaceful society in the future. So that this peace that is being fought for in the Southeast could be sustainable. Because as much as we are fighting it in this kinetic way, you know that some people were programmed like this within 4 years. Some people were programmed, and you can see the kind of harm they've caused to the Southeast. I know some of you who are listening to me from the other side do not like what I'm saying. Yes, you may not like what I'm saying, but I love you so much that I wouldn't want you to die in this process. You could live a better life. If there are other ways we could fight this, we have options. We could go, a lot of people are doing some other things now, trying to make Igbo safe and all those kind of things. We could do that. Let's get, without actually getting our brothers and sisters injured, because you could be safe. Maybe because you have some other fortification out there about, but you're creating problems for people around you. As communities, like this Christmas, it was safer. Now, a lot of people came back. Some people could not come back in Southeast for the last 2 or 3 years. I'm not saying it's their fault totally. There was a piece written by Chidi Odikalo about a truth commission where he made something very clearly about the causes of insecurity in the Southeast. Insecurity. Now, from my experience, I told you guys my first experience I had when I released the first episode. Now, Chidi was very, very, very on point. You see, the issue of the way we select our leaders in the Southeast is a very big problem. And because of our indigenous system of, where we have their cephalous system of governance. And then when somebody is just thrown from nowhere, the person becomes a councillor, the person becomes the PG or the Igbo, without actually having the support of the majority of the people from that place, it becomes a very big problem. And that's why people don't understand that this the foundation of the insecurity we're having in society in Southeast, for example. And that thing is, we must also fight unemployment and how will I say it, hopelessness among the young guys. An average Igbo man believes that his life is worth something, even if he doesn't know what that thing is. That is bigger than what he's saying. That he must be big. That's why I say sometimes people become very noisy, but that's for another day. Now, when he said that, when I read that from him, I said, yes, Chidi knows exactly what he's talking about. The way we select the process. Especially, there are a lot of injustice where people rig themselves into offices. You can go to some communities where the PGs are not even within the community. Maybe the guy lives abroad or in Lagos. The businessman in Lagos and the president general of the community. Some of the Igbos don't even stay in the community. They're businessmen, or maybe they're somewhere in the United States or somewhere in Europe. And then you have, maybe you know who designated as the person, and these are they keep causing problems. Some people are just government appointees. Even if they say this within the community, they cannot get a consensus. They can't even win. Even within that community, they cannot win even the, let me say, the treasurer or even secretary of the community, the immediate community or their own, and then the person is the Igbo. And these things keep causing a lot of disunity within the Igbo. We are a people that respect the elders. And if this thing is not built from the ground up, we're actually going to be having problems. Because there are a lot of the structure in society that are broken. Some people cannot even go back to their community now and call for a meeting and they get closed. You got a certain number of people to come, but they are the one in charge of the government. They are the one that the government can listen to. You understand? So I would want that a lot of our people look into this and let this thing dressed